Introduce our witnesses. Our first witness is Dr. Kathleen Ruth, who was the Vice Chair of the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections from 2019 to 2023 and currently serves as the Director of Program Development at CAI Global. Dr. Ruth, it's always great to have a fellow Wisconsin Badger with us, even when in Atlanta, Georgia. Our next witness, Mr. Hans van Spakowski, is a Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation Center for Legal and Judicial Studies and has also served on the Fulton County Registration and Elections Board. As a manager of the think tank's Election Law Reform Initiative, Mr. van Spakowski is a leader on studying voter fraud and voter ID, enforcement of federal voting rights laws, administration of elections, and voting equipment standards. Our next witness, Vernetta Keith Nuruddin, was appointed to serve on the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections as Vice Chair, overseeing all elections in Fulton County from 2017 to 2021. Ms. Nuruddin is certified by the Election Secretary of State as a Georgia elections official, a Georgia registrar, and a municipal elections official. And finally, Kathy Woolard has served as the Chair of Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections since September 2021. As a reminder, we've read your written statements and it will appear in full in the hearing record. Under Committee Rule 9, you're to limit your oral presentation to a brief summary of your written statement unless I extend the time period in consultation with Ranking Member Morelli. Please remember to press the button on the microphone in front of you so that it is on and members can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you will turn green, and after 4 minutes, it will turn yellow. When the red light comes up, your 5 minutes have expired, and I would ask you to please wrap up. I'll now recognize Dr. Kathleen Ruth for 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. I would like to thank the Committee on House Administration for this invitation. I value public service and was honored to serve 2 terms as a member of the Fulton County Board of Registrations and Elections from 2019 to 2023. Fulton County is the largest county in the state of Georgia. It has a population roughly the size of 8 states. It covers 70 miles from end to end across 15 cities, including the city of Atlanta. Fulton has approximately 765,000 voters. I say all this to highlight the complexities encountered in managing efficient elections. The 2020 election presented unique and elevated challenges to the county's well-documented history of issues administering elections. The election was managed through a global pandemic. Lawmakers responded by introducing new processes designed to make voting accessible during the public health crisis, including expanding absentee by mail, introducing drop boxes, and extending in-person voting. All of this was on top of the implementation of new voting machines. Additionally, Fulton County was at the center of growing change in the political climate, beginning in 2016, elevating in 2018, and peaking in 2020. Each of these factors exacerbated the unique complexities of managing elections in Fulton County, while also highlighting the vulnerabilities and underlying problems that have existed in elections for years across the country. Fast forwarding to 2023, the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections worked with internal partners to examine lessons learned and develop recommendations from 2020 to make improvements. The department also received reports based on hundreds of hours of observation documented from Carter Jones, an election strategist, and the Carter Center to make further adjustments to increase election administration performance. Lastly, House Bill 202 helped to improve the processing of absentee applications and absentee by mail ballots to ensure more timely verification. The Fulton County BRE, under new leadership, increased staff, guidance from an engaged Board of Registration and Elections, were able to incorporate recommendations and make significant improvements to modernize elections, develop standard operating procedures for every function of elections, provide more contextualized poll worker training, and maintain compliance with the State Board of Election. For Fulton to uphold the mission to ensure that the registration and elections process is efficient and effectively provided to all eligible citizens, state officials will need to continuously provide tools to modernize elections and remove outdated and burdensome policies. American voters expect voting officials to ensure that every eligible citizen can vote and make sure that their vote is not weakened due to errors, inconsistencies, and inefficient systems. I'm honored to participate in today's hearing and hope that my experience and observations can be used to support the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ruth. Mr. Hans von Spaskowski, you're now